My fingers ache before I'm even fully awake. The air inside the shack feels heavier than sleep. I wipe a patch of frost from the window with the side of my hand. The glass gives back no light, only a dull gray that might be dawn or just cloud. The thermometer nailed to the beam reads 71 degrees Celsius. I breathe out slow, watching it hang in the air. No use pretending it's warmer. Before the thought settles, I take the shovel and start clearing the snow pressed against the door. The handle is rough. The metal burns cold through the gloves. I work until the hinges groan and the light leaks in, faint, colorless. Inside again, I stack wood by the stove and strike a match. The first flame catches small and quiet. I sit close, waiting for the water to melt. The day can begin. The work is the warmth. The shack stands alone at the edge of a cedar grove, built from uneven planks darkened by years of damp and smoke. The roof bends slightly under its own weight, patched with tin and rope. Inside, the stove sits at the center of everything, heat, light, and noise in one small circle. A cot rests against the back wall, its wool blanket stiff with old moisture. Beside it, a bucket for melting ice, 2 iron pots, an axe, and a notebook with pages curled from steam. Each morning, I check the firewood stacked near the wall. The logs are short, cut months ago, pale and dry as bone. When the air outside is still, I split more near the woodpile, the axe head biting slow through grain that's turned hard as stone. Between chores, I scrape away the drift that builds at the door, knock powder from the roof, and refill the bucket for the next boil. The air inside always smells faintly of smoke resin and wet wool. Outside, the snow stretches quiet to the tree line, broken only by thin branches and the shallow print of a fox long gone. The sky stays colorless from morning to dark. Inside, the stove hums low, steady enough to count time by. I listen to it the way one listens to weather. The firewood stack is shrinking faster than it should. Each log burns down too quickly in this kind of air. I count what's left, 12 days, maybe less. I start cutting smaller pieces, hoping to stretch the heat without choking the flame. The axe handle has begun to split near the middle. I wrap it with wire and a strip of cloth, pulling tight until the wood holds. Each swing now sinks shallow, like hitting stone. The sound is short and dull, but it's enough. By evening, the stove begins to smoke again. I lift the pipe and chip at the frost inside until a faint draft catches. The flame hesitates, then steadies into a thin orange line. I sit close, palms open to the heat. The light flickers against the wall, and for a moment it feels like something alive, the only thing that hasn't stopped moving. The days have started to lose their edges. I wake, rub the stiffness from my hands, clear the snow from the door, and light the stove. The routine feels slower now, but no less exact. Outside, the woodpile has frozen into a single shape, so I break it apart piece by piece, carrying smaller bundles inside. Frost clings to the bark. It burns the skin when I brush it off. Each log must dry before it will burn clean. The shovel stays by the door. Every few hours, I use it to chip open the drift that tries to seal me in. The sound of metal scraping across the packed crust cuts through the quiet. Sometimes I stop, just to hear the silence close again. Cooking has turned into rhythm more than thought. Melt snow, boil rice, wait. I ration the oil carefully, 1 spoonful at a time. The smell of smoke and metal settles into everything. I close my hair, even the blanket. When the pan hums low, the air feels alive for a few minutes. The axe still holds, though the split deepens. I swing slower now, letting the blade do the work. The wood fights back, stiff and dry, but still gives. I mark the day's number and temperature on the wall each night. More to measure motion than meaning. Outside, nothing changes. Inside, I keep to the same order. Shovel, cut, melt, cook, feed the fire. My knuckles ache. My breath hangs low and the heat circles close to the stove. There's no finish to reach, just the next small thing to keep moving. The storm comes without warning. A dull vibration runs through the walls. Then the sound turns sharp as the wind drives snow against the wood. Within an hour, the door will not move. The drift has locked it tight from the outside. I test it once, twice, a solid. The air grows thin. The stove burns hard, pulling what little oxygen is left. I open the vent, but the wind forces smoke back down the pipe. The room fills with haze. I tie a cloth around my mouth, drop to my knees, and begin digging at the door from the inside. The shovel hits ice that will not break. I trade it for a bowl, scooping handfuls of packed snow. My fingers cramp. The gloves stiffen. Every breath burns colder. The The sound is only snow sliding against wood, and my pulse beating dull in my ears. After a long while, the latch shifts. A sliver of air slips through, thin, bitter, clean. I push harder, lean my shoulder in, and the door gives an inch. Snow spills inside, light as dust. I stop there. For a moment, I sit by the stove, breathing through the cloth until the air evens out. Smoke rises straight again. The flame steadies. The world outside keeps its noise, but inside, the sound of burning wood takes over. I feed the stove one more log and close the door just enough to hold back the wind. The air smells of ash and resin. I keep still, watching the light tremble against the walls, steadying with each breath. By morning, the storm has passed. The wind has carved the snow into sharp ridges that catch what little light there is. I open the door carefully, pushing until it holds against the drift. The cold feels heavier now, pressing close after a night of still air. But the quiet that follows is clean. No sound, no movement, the roof stayed firm. I knock loose the buildup along the edge, clear a narrow trench to the woodpile, and stand a moment to breathe. Each swing of the axe is slow and deliberate. The handle rubs raw against my palm, but the rhythm is steady. The sound is flat and sure. Inside, the fire burns smaller but steady. I sweep the snow from the floorboards, hang the damp blanket near the stove, and set the kettle back on. The thermometer shows negative 60 degrees centigrade again. It doesn't matter. The room holds its warmth. Light seeps through the window, thin, steady, without color. I write day 24 on the wall and set the pencil down where it breaks. 6 more days to keep warm. My hands will ache, the fire will burn, and the work will go on. That's enough. Morning again. The frost has thickened overnight, spreading over the window like a second skin. I clear a small patch with my palm until the gray light shows through. I don't say it this time, I just nod, as if the number and I already understand each other. The door is buried halfway up, drifted firm against the frame. I press the shovel's edge into it and work slowly until the hinges ease open. The sound doesn't change, metal, snow, breath. When the way is clear, I bring in the next armful of wood and stack it by the stove. A single match, one soft flare, and the crackle starts again. The ice in the pot begins to soften into water. Outside, the world holds still. Inside, the heat finds its shape. I breathe once and think. Another day, same cold.